Yes. I want to welcome y'all to the You Wasn't Outside podcast on the Grown Folks Podcast Network. I'm one of your hosts, not doing the most normal as Carl. To my front, in full attendance, I have my man at Just Lex, and to his left and to my right, we have Miss J. We got to get you some things going. You know what I mean? Like some drops, something like that.
Right.
And I have a feeling. The fact that Lex's phone that isn't working, when I was prepared for him not to be here, I actually went in and the little things, the sounds, it works on my shit. Yeah. So I don't know. It
had me signed in and then it just signed me out.
Bro, you're the only one I know that's going through it, I guess, right now. Don't worry about it. I got you, though. I got you.
You're a captain.
I try to. Listen, while I pull this up, Mr. Sick With It Records himself. There we go. Yeah, get my whole shit. Get yours in there, too. You hear fun.
And this Lex.
Let me tell you how sick this dude is. In his mind, right, he probably thinks like, yo, you came in. He's like, yo, he been trying to replace me. And maybe I'm wrong, right? But in my version of the story, my version of the story, this is what he came in with. So Lex is in transition in his life, to which we know, right? like we know he's in transition. And so, and being a good friend that I try to be, right? I said, hey, man, you ain't even got to come today, right? Hey, we'll hold it down. Don't worry about it. He ain't like that. You know why I know he ain't like that? Because he didn't text me back, right? And so you being so gracious of a person that you are, I never felt like I had to tell you, like, hey, man, he ain't coming for this specific reason, whatever the case.
We gotta communicate.
No one's in trouble. He's in trouble with himself, right? But I want to make sure that whoever hears this knows that I shot him grace, because what happens is that he'll get busy and I'll still be hung out in the fire and it look like, yo, I'm just like an asshole, right? And so I was like, yo, my man's been in transition all day, right? It's a lot to come here, sit down and everything, unload. Maybe he just needs a day off, right? There's nothing wrong with having a day off. But he don't take days off. This is Mr. like, yo, if it's a common cold, I'm still going to work, right? No matter what. Mr. Fool not accruing any more hours at work because he's at the top end. And the fact that he started back at his old spot, he's going right back to being there where they got to tell him, hey, look, you got to be off, right? And so I try to shoot him some grace. Here's where Mr. Sick With It Records himself was real nasty. You text him, hey, what time you going to be there? He knew what I said to him. All he had to say was, hey, I ain't going to be there tonight.
To be fair.
Get a little closer to the mic.
To be fair, we all had a miscommunication. Like I was saying, this is a new throuple that worked for me.
Nah, he wasn't gonna tell you he was down.
He did tell
I'm not
me.
down.
I hit him up and
I
was like, yo, what time are you gonna be there tonight? I asked him because I was running late. And
I'm gonna tell you where part in your story where it all gonna come together. But keep going. I'm gonna let you rock out.
I was gonna be running late too, so I was hoping maybe he would buy me some extra time. So I hit him up.
I was running all the way late,
and I was like, yo, what time are you?
I knew. This is the crazy part, but keep going.
What time are you gonna be there? I'm asking because I'm running late. And he was like, whoop-de-whoop-whoop. Also, he told me, like Carl said, like, kick back. It's cool. I didn't even respond to that. I just said, what's the address? I can pick you up. I'm on my way. And so then when we got in the car, he kind of explained that, you were giving him the grace. And then I think I kind of, not bullied, but maybe I jumped the gun too much.
No, not at all. The thing is, he thought I was going to be busy. I was done at 6:15.
Yeah, but you're not done.
Yeah.
I haven't even asked you about like what happened. I was gonna call you tomorrow and figure it out.
And that's why I was gonna call.
I was gonna call him tomorrow and ask him like, hey, so what's the deal? Hey, so we can figure this out, move it a little bit forward. Not having that, no offense to you, but not having that conversation in front of you, right? So I was like, yo, we'll be okay. By the time she comes back next week, we'll have a grasp on what's gonna happen. But that's funny, right? That's why it's funny, because I didn't look until about 25 minutes ago, right? So said she was leaving at 7:30. I'm sitting here, he over here yelling at the game and shit. I'm like, all right, I don't know what's happening. I check it. I get to like the first 20 seconds, right? hey, I went to go. I'll see him when you get here.
I was hoping she didn't tell you.
No, I knew something was up because I was like, damn.
Both of y'all.
Hey, because like, here's the thing, right? She brought up a good point. I ain't got her phone number. I usually just talk to her on like Instagram. So I was like, if something happened to her, now I got to communicate with her husband, who I've never met or spoke to before. Like, hey, man, something may or may not have happened. I don't know. It could be anything, carjacking, something, right? Something crazy. So I was like, oh, let me just check in, make sure she was solid and everything else. So, yeah, we here now. Shit, what else am I
How was your week?
It was good.
No,
I think it went by pretty fast. Oh, I had some long conversations. Never mind, it was long. Now that I think about it, because if I think back on the like conversations I've had, I was like, God damn, that was like 4 days ago, but that felt like at least 2 weeks ago. So never mind. It was very, very interesting.
Sorry about that.
No, it's cool. Look, I wasn't gonna bring that. I was gonna bring that up either. Oh man, I was sitting here like, what do I do to deserve this? Oh shit! Oh, I went to the 85 South concert, or not concert. I sound like an old ass dude.
That's right.
85 South podcast last night. Cousin hit me up Wednesday. He was like, "Yo, man, you want to roll?" Now this is a cousin that is 25, 26. And I was like, yo, I haven't, never hung with you, right? Post you being 21 in a spot like this.
Yeah, that's fun.
And I was like, you know what? This is our moment. I didn't realize that until I was like a little bit half drunk getting out the Uber, like going home. I was like, this is our first time going out since you turned 21.
I think that's a good show for that too. For y'all two in that age bracket.
Well, he's mellow, right? So he's not like.
But I'm talking about their demographic. Because you guys kind of both fitted on opposite sides of the spectrum.
Like a bunch of young people.
Shit, no, hell no. Their demographic even goes up to 60.
Yeah.
Right? And so it made me think a little bit about like our demographic because it shares the same like you have very young people like deep side. Talk about I listed all your stuff all the way up to like my aunt who was.
You let him get that off?
I believed him because he started referencing things. Either he was doing homework or whatever the case, but yeah. And he was still like sending me messages post going back. Now, have I fizzled out? Who knows? He was on an airplane, so have you fizzled out? Who knows? I did that. And then our boy Ben, his son, had a birthday party, so I saw Lex yesterday, in which I told him the same thing leaving, right? So that's funny. And it was cool. We actually finally got a photo. My core friends, like CP and them,
a cute photo.
they were all hating. They was like, and my boy,
I was hating.
it was like, yo, you
I
didn't hate with them.
picture.
It's like, what are you talking about? I lived by them, and some of these guys, like, we grew up. Like,
yeah, I seen other people. Like hugging other parts of the group chat. Like, how do you know Ben?
Yeah.
Everyone's looking around confused, and it's like, yeah. That was a moment where I was like, yeah, there's certain words that are used to describe me where I was like, okay, it was on full display yesterday, on full display today, a few hours ago. And yeah, it was just more, because, I had to compartmentalize to make it through yesterday.
Yeah.
And I appreciate y'all. Or you and Alonzo specifically, since y'all the one that kind of caught me, knowing the situation, and it's fairly serious,
yeah,
and yet still giving me shit for making some leftover plates because
that shit was funny.
Because I had to get.
I knew the situation. You didn't even have to tell me. I knew where your shit was, but it was just like, yo. When I seen that plate go on top of the other plate and he ducked off behind the party, that's fun. And we're alike because he snuck a photo of me sitting on the bench. Like it don't matter what's going on. This is why like people think that they don't. There has been some transgressions on his behalf and my behalf, right? And all parties don't think we take anything going on in our life serious. Right?
It's just more of a like, okay, like for me anyway. I can't take that. Like, don't treat me abnormally. Treat me the same. We can all agree that, hey, man, you're going through something or whatever. There's some cause for concern in certain areas of your life, but don't just start treating me totally different because then I'm gonna freak out.
Exactly.
And so that was just like another one of those things where I was like, all right, like I'm cool.
At normalcy, and we need that
definitely
normalcy.
Some normalcy.
So your boy's talking shit. That's normalcy.
I've known him my whole life. There's nothing that he would do to me, and there's nothing that I asked him last podcast. Yo, what did I really, or 2 podcasts ago? What have I ever asked you for? Right? It wasn't up until recently that one of us had to carry the other one a little more. But other than that, it's like, and when I say carry, I mean like pay a little bit more close attention to.
Yeah.
Right? It wasn't until recently. So it's like, yo, like anybody. even the events that took place, right? Hey, look, I don't know what the fuck tell you. We already have established roles and shit like that.
Yeah.
So it's like it don't necessarily matter. We all maneuver through some other shit I'm gonna talk to you about off mic. Not even regarding that. Something else at the party that had. No, you know what? No, I can find a way to do it right now.
Spill the tea, Carl.
I realized that in people that we know together mutually. The other people that are like snow globing, like looking from the outside looking in, are looking at me kind of crazy right now. And so when I realized that, Jalen Brunson, right?
Okay.
When Jalen Brunson's girl came, right? That's our little inside joke right now, because I said it earlier. I noticed the energy was a little different. Even with my wife. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, yeah, this is the aftermath. I haven't even had to face this. I don't even know what happened specifically. And so when I think back on that shit, right, and it doesn't have to be even one specific event, it's just the knowledge of that. Because even last summer, I remember having a conversation with you about, certain things, and I was like, damn, I haven't seen this person, since then. So there's a lot of those guys that were in that photo and shit like that, I haven't seen them in a long-ass time.
And based on our conversation that I had with them, they're like a handful of months in the back of what's happening.
They're not caught up to date.
Yeah. So there is probably a more hot time frame when it comes to you that energy would make sense.
Yeah.
Because they're in this month versus what's happening right now.
No, I own everything that happened in that. See, I think I err with, and we can, random shit to fill in time. Go. Wait a minute, before we do that, how are you been? And then make sure you get up close on that mic, girl. Appreciate you. How you been though? You can scoot it back too if you want to, just so in case you want to sit back. I got you.
Well, it gets weird because then I feel like it's like a dick trying to hit my mouth. I don't like it. I'm like, you need to pay me for that.
My wife had me dying about you though.
Really?
Yeah, she said she saw your story and you were like comparing taking your kids to the beach to several different things. See how her old demeanor just flattened out in the chair?
Because she feels me probably. And she felt me.
But she laughed. She was like, yo, that shit was funny. Like for real. And so I was just like, yo.
Yeah, walking my dogs, walking my kids on their leashes. Good Lord.
Hey, you know what? When you get to it, I was a leash kid.
When
I didn't have siblings.
You're badass. Yeah, what that say about your badass?
When I was younger, I looked at parents with leash kids, and I'm like, that shit is kind of wild.
Same.
Now I still won't do it, but I don't judge.
Let me drop off the twins with you. Without the leashes, and let's see what you do.
The thing is, I probably should have did it because I've had to jump in oncoming traffic. I had to do some things.
Yeah.
But I can't bring myself to do it. And that might be just because of how much shit I talked.
What about the cool leash backpacks they made now?
That's what the kids are rocking. He's saying that because he's never... I would literally... think about it. I'm an educator. I've worked with children of all ages. I would literally... And I used to talk the most shit about those backpack leashes. I feel like it's my karma. And I would never do it, but it's literally life or death. Two kids, same age,
same thing.
Constant
the thing is,
direction.
I took the risk of the life or death.
Nah,
I took the risk of death
with hands,
just because I didn't want to do it.
Many times.
Many. I'm not doing it.
Many times. How you been?
It's been good. I feel like I'm on a really good level of personal development. I'm growth wise and acknowledging the things that I need to work on, but also trying to recognize my growth. But I'm still dealing with some really heavy personal shit that's has the potential and will flip my life upside down. So trying to navigate everyday life while still trying to figure out how the fuck I'm gonna survive this situation or get through it. This week I really felt it. My mental health took a toll. I missed a day of work. Yeah, exactly. I had to get back into my therapy bag, my tools. I had to do a lot of praying and just to make it through the next few days. And then I went to church today and my cup is feeling good. So I'm feeling good and I'm feeling strong and empowered, but I'm also I have a whole lot of reality and I don't know how the fuck I'm going to maneuver through it.
When you sit across from two of the dog memes who are in the kitchen with the house on fire saying I'm fine. How do you feel when you see us? Like,
I'm fine. I'm totally fine.
But see, I work in that like arena. I don't tell people exactly what I do, but it's like, you know,
crisis management.
I'll give you an example. Some shit like went down like across the street maybe 5 years ago when me and my wife lived here, and everybody on the street was panicking. I can't remember what it was, but like I took a step back, like physically, right? And I just like, again, fishbowled. I started looking like, this person's panicking. This one's here. The police is on the way.
Exactly.
This happened. Okay. And I was like, oh, I'm watching everyone as they're going through their shit.
Frantic.
And I just kind of like got my shit together in the moment. And so I don't know how to explain that to you other than
it's crisis management.
Like, but I can listen to what y'all saying, or I can even go like it's not that I don't have issues or whatever. It's just that my issues aren't at the same magnitude, right? But they have been at some point in time. Yeah. But it's just like, yo, man, I'm used to hearing that. And then when you were talking, no offense, and I'm saying this in a positive light because I don't want you to do what you did to him last week to me. But like I look at it like, yo, what is the purpose of living type of thing, right? And we were talking about this a little bit in our group chat about like, yo, like you can be, maybe we were talking about in a group chat, I heard it somewhere else. I can't remember where. But you can either try to take control of your life and live life by these rules and shit like that we have set forth and measure yourself against whatever things that you measure it against and think that, yo, I'm trying to search for purpose in life or the purpose of life is just to go through these things.
Yeah.
You know, and then look at things like how you just said you went to church today and your perspective changed. And it was like, yo, I just hit the reset button just to get back to homeostasis of where I need to be mentally to be prepared to continue to do the things that's going to plague me for the rest of my life. My kids are going to plague me forever.
Yeah. I think there's two different lenses. Like everything that you're saying is really valid and it's really important to have those kind of mindsets. But then where it gets like more challenging is for someone like me who's like diagnosed with like real mental health illnesses. Right. So, you know, that's where the waters get murky and it gets tricky because people who don't necessarily experience mental health crises or mental health diagnoses or have had someone close to them, they kind of think you can just think your way through it. You can just have a perspective change through it. For me, like church, like, you know, it's like you said, it gave me that boost, but it's also, you know, I take medication, I have therapy, I've learned breath work, I've learned grounding, like, and then I've also learned to fill my spiritual cup, you know, which is the ultimate thing. So I just want to make a point that we got to be clear because you can't always just have like a perspective switch out of depression, out of anxiety, out of these things that really can debilitate your real life.
And that's why I hate when people walk around saying that they have something and they don't know for sure. Yeah. Or because they take away from someone of
like
the
when
likes
someone's
of
like,
you.
I'm so depressed this week. It's
or
like, girl,
there's a lot of therapy words that are really overused and trying to like it's a fad and trendy.
Yeah.
Everybody has anxiety. Everybody's a narcissist. Whatever.
A lot of these things, like they are prevalent and they are relevant. The reason it's like, you know, when you get a red car and then all of a sudden you see everybody has a red car. So the tools, the information, the language that we're getting used to right now is kind of new. So that's why so many people are relating to it. Yes, people are jumping on it, misdiagnosing, self-diagnosing, but also I feel like a lot of people. Kind of like Black Twitter I was watching earlier. It was the first time people are like, oh, there's other people out here like me. Like for me, when I discovered the depression talk, when I discovered fucking anxiety, IG, like I was like, oh, I'm not a fucking sad bitch all by myself. Like other people feel like this. Other people's houses look like this when they're depressed, etc., etc.
Yeah, you know, and that's the thing though, right? Because like I look at it through, I know a guy that is in his 40s, and here's the thing. Oh, shit is crazy. I gotta paint it right, but I'm gonna go ahead and go with the shock effect first. Bro diagnosed himself as being autistic or on the spectrum.
Okay. Most overdiagnosed diagnosis there is.
Nah, but here's the thing. I think he was right.
Oh yeah.
Right? Here's the thing. I think he was absolutely right. And I'll show you some shit later on. I just don't want to flash him like that. Right? Where like he had did something that we all watched on national TV, and he works where I work at. But like when you watch the thing that he did, you can see it there too. Yeah. Right? And he has very like emotionless conversations. It's almost like talking to like Elon Musk or like it's like, yo, man, I think you have this pretty like view of what society is supposed to be and shit like that, but it ain't like that. It's really just chaos out here, right? Really? Elon wants to like, do the space rocket, build cars for everyone. And in the back of my mind, what I'm gonna say is like, shit, somebody's gonna do fucking drive-bys in this car. The space rocket's gonna go up. It's gonna like mess up the environment.
Yeah.
But in his mind, none of that shit probably even matters, right? Yeah. Even all the wild shit. But I say all that to say that I feel like that guy was right, but it was just kind of like, well, for what? And you self-diagnose yourself. Like, go see a real doctor.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, right, go to the regional center too and get some services, bro. Like,
you ain't shit.
Yeah, like for real. But going at 40, to me, that's why I started laughing to myself, because I was like, God damn. It might be a little bit too late, because it's like, yo, you tell us this, and I don't know what the hell else to do with this other than, shit, that makes sense now, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I look at it in that lens. But you're right. So I got a really good friend that's, to me, based off of things you're describing, because I've never seen these things from you, right?
Yeah.
And that may be, part of your thing of saying, hey, look, I want people to know that I'm okay at the time, right? Now I know. I've known since you came out and spoke about it. But I have a friend like that, and most people don't understand that it's very hard to talk to individuals that are currently. My friend is bipolar, and about that person's bipolarness is that it starts coming with irrational decisions. I've known this person to have 6 or 7 jobs since I've known them. Like, I'm talking like 6-figure jobs, right? And it's like, yo, I don't know that many people that go through 6-figure jobs like this, right? That's not in the tech industry or in finance and shit like that. So when they start beefing with people at work, they start calling me, I know something is wrong.
Yes.
Right? When they start calling me and I'm like, yo, you're under the influence because you're a little bit too mellow, something is wrong.
And how do you show up for them or offer them support because that's when we call, like, when you're in like an episode, you're experiencing, when you're bipolar, you're super manic or super depressed. So when they're manic, it's like, you're feeling godlike, you're feeling super creative, you can do anything, you have no sleep. And then when you're depressed, you start isolating.
I don't want to speak about this in a way that it works with everyone.
Yeah, because
right?
it's not blanket.
It don't.
It's not.
But me and this person have been through enough shit.
Yeah.
Right? And been there for each other. And like, I got into a motorcycle accident, right? And I called everybody, like my girlfriend at the time, my cousin, like everybody that lived in the radius of when this happened.
Yeah.
And when I called them, they answered and showed up within the 8 minutes, right?
Wow.
So I'll never say anything about this. I'll never say anything to this person like negative to someone else that I wouldn't say to them in their face.
Yeah. And
so we have an understanding that I'm gonna just be like, cut the shit, right? Like, get out of this little funk. That works with them.
Yes.
Whereas someone else who we both encountered recently, right? I said, hey, look, what we not about to do is where you on right now, because right now I don't have the path or the time for it, and that works with the people. This person flashed on us, right? And I said, yo, you know what? I can't do this with you right now. They
unloaded on you, and you didn't have the capacity.
And I knew the history, and I was like, you know what's funny? Because they had said something to me, and this is how I knew that this person was in an episode, like in the middle of it. Yeah. They had said something to me, and I was like, you know what? You forgot that you told me about this instance 4 years ago. Like, you sat down in my house with my wife and told us both this story. And the way you're telling this right now, like, it's a reset button. Like, you're telling me something that's like new. It's kind of odd, but I know that this person is neglecting to get help. And so by them neglecting to get help, I can't be your punching bag because of where I'm at in my life. And so instead of flashing like I normally would, right? I tried the normal voice, normal talk, soft tone, my way out, and then finally say what I need to say. That person then hit him up because of my saving grace response and was like, yo, I was tripping. Yeah, that's cool. You may have been tripping and you have some moment of clarity, but you're not taking care of what you need to take care of right now. So therefore I can't allow you to do this again to me.
Yeah, and that's a healthy boundary you set for yourself.
I had to.
And I think as someone who's had to have people have stepped away from me, because like you said, I didn't know I was sick for so long. And then, when you're getting help and your interpersonal relationships are shit, you realize sometimes you're unloading or you don't realize that you're unloading on certain people, or that your symptoms are being taken out on them. And I think it's important to recognize and note, like, when you're experiencing a mental health breakdown, to one, check in with someone and be like, hey, like really, we should probably check in with each other. Like, hey, do you got the capacity to hear what I'm going through today before I just unload on you?
Right.
You know, so that way we're kind of respecting and we're not burning our people out. You know, like, we kind of have to spread the trauma.
We
around.
had a little check-in on Friday.
We did. We definitely had a check in.
That's good, y'all. I'm not being funny. I'm serious. It's good that y'all definitely like are connected. Like,
no, that was our first time we checked in with each other.
Well, because that to me, it's like I know you, right?
Yeah.
And we've had conversations, car rides and stuff. And everything, so it's like, yo, this is an opportunity for y'all to create a safe space with each other, so like nobody feels left out when we're here. Because that to me is beneficial that y'all check in.
Yeah.
You gonna say something? Go ahead.
No.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
They like, yo, is he good? Like, let us know. Nah,
I'm good. It was good timing for obviously the party, so I could run into some faces. Obviously, like, I got to get away for a few hours during the Kendrick concert.
Oh yeah, that's right. Kendrick did come out with a new concert.
It's been a long week.
Absolutely.
So
hit my hand claps. Without further ado, what I wanted to ask, and I think that this is something that was a little bit of what we were talking about. So random shit to fill in time. And the topics that you brought up, I'm only going to run on this for a little bit. So whatever topics that you had in your book that you want to bring up, great time for us to do it right now, too.
Oh.
I know you had a segment, but there were some topics that you asked me about, too.
Yeah.
But I wanted to get you guys' take, because we ran into it today, right now, talking. I guess, like, my biggest thing is now at 34 years old, right? A lot of people will have expectations for me still to kind of be the same person I was when I was young, right? And so the saying has been in certain places like, oh, like, you got a real hands-off attitude about these things. And I was like, yeah, because I have kids now. I have a wife, right? I even felt the burden of, like, being out yesterday with my cousin, like, all right, old me at 29 would have, like, pressed the issue and like, yo, I'm going out tonight.
Yeah, like, I'm going to go out, and then out after I go out.
Yeah, I went to the show and I was it. That was it. You know, I get you 26, bro, but I ain't got nothing to do with me, right? Yeah. It's like, I'm going home, bro. There's nothing out here for me.
And I'm tired. I want to go home. I had a great time. Now I'm ready to go home.
I was good. I ran into oh shit, why did I do this on the mic? I ran into Victoria. She was outside, right? Yeah. And that was, to me, it was funny because, like, she was out and it was almost like I was hoping I never saw you there. And she hit me with, like, a little Hollywood thing, like, oh, I tried calling you the other day. No, you didn't, but you don't have to lie. It's cool. She was like, maybe it was someone else. I was like, maybe, because you didn't try to call me. Matter of fact, you don't even got my phone number. Like, I hit you up, like, in DMs and shit, you know, whenever we talk or whatever. So there's no way that, like, you tried to hit me. I haven't talked to her since she left here, or maybe one time, like, that the week of. Like, other than that, she's been doing her own thing. But my whole point in telling this whole story is that I don't feel obligated to do more than what I can.
Yeah.
Anymore.
Amen.
Right? And then, like, we were talking about the whole mental health aspect thing of it, right? There are people that will make you feel bad about, like, what your role is in certain things. Right? what you laughing at?
No, go ahead. I'm following.
Okay. So but my thing is like, yo, who I am right now and what I can give that's it. That's the most that I can do. And the hard part is, as a person that sets hard boundaries, is that you have to look from the other side and hear people say what they say about you and your participation on things. So I want to open up the floor to y'all experiences on those.
You ain't gonna get no pushback from me on that one.
Me neither.
I was actually thinking about things that I've changed in the past 10 years or whatever. And I think what made me feel the most comfortable is, I think if somebody ran into me today that ain't seen me in 10 years, they'd be like, oh, I don't know if they would say, you're a totally different person. I got a whole bunch of stuff going on that's like, wow, whatever. Like, you're not the same person.
Yeah.
But there's a sense of self that never changed, that I've never lost. And I was laying down last night, like, that's why I be moving so comfortable in, especially like the situations I'm in right now, because I know, because I don't know about, maybe this is not normal for everybody, but I know if I'm out here moving foul or I'm out here doing something
shady,
whatever, that when I lay down at night in my own thoughts, which are dangerous enough,
right?
They gonna tell me first, and that's gonna fuck with me, right? Mm-hmm. And not that I sleep well anyway, but I've been sleeping as good as possible, knowing that my sense of self, at least in the positive part, has never, there's a core piece of me that's never changed to where it doesn't matter how different circumstances are becoming for me or what's happening. I'm never losing that part of me that's so important. And I think I can recognize that, know a lot of people, because I've known at this point in my life, I've known so many people for multiple decades. I've seen them grow up. I've seen them go through many phases. Yeah. And I've seen the ones who have lost what I'm talking about and the ones who haven't.
Yeah.
And that usually comes with some sort of fallout or some sort of, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
And so I was actually thinking about it last night where I was like, I really was taking some moral inventory. Like, is there any piece in my life right now where I'm tripping? Because I plan on sleeping peacefully tonight, even with the fire going on all around me. And I sat there for like half an hour and like kind of low key meditated about it. And I was like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
The reason why I thought that that's funny that you said that is knowing about like one of the fires, right? And speaking to like participants. The one thing I said to them, which I said it to you even when it happened, was, motherfucker grown. And on top of that, I was like, yo, this is somebody who I know from way past 10 years now has always found a way. So like if you spend your time worrying about him, it ain't gonna serve you no good. Because he thrive in this. This is like when it's showtime, right?
Exactly.
Yo, like it's the bottom of the 7. He down 3-1. It's like, yo, I've been here before. So it's like, and that actually goes into what we're talking about, because it's like, yo, I don't know what you're expecting of me.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
And to piggyback off what you're saying, I think because the people you speaking about don't know that about me and were treating me different. When they got multiple people that know that about me trying to tell them, okay, what exactly do you need help with? Well, I need help with him. What does he need help with? Because I'm talking to him. He seems to be doing everything he's supposed to be doing.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I think you had mentioned like, oh, I see him like returning to form.
Yeah.
And so it's like, what is it that you want me to do about this situation?
The final piece of that return has already happened. Now I'm ready to watch.
It doesn't sound like, and so they're just not understand. Like they think of it really showcased what was thought of me, which is like, I'm so dependent. I can't take care of myself. A bunch of stuff going on. And so now I don't know if they're finding out or they're about to find out, but there was a lot of stuff happen where, yeah, I'm a thug it out champion. Like my shit is in the rafters. I'm gonna figure it out. It might not be comfortable, but at this point in my life, it's happened enough to where this is my comfort level.
Yeah.
If everything's going smooth, then my mind immediately goes to some wild shit's about to happen. And then when it happens, I feel more comfortable because it seems normal to me.
Yeah, well, when we grow up in such a, turmoil, it becomes your norm. Navigating different crises becomes your norm.
Has that happened to you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I grew up a shit show. My life was a shit show. My life is still a shit show. So moving through different crises, it almost is like putting pressure on coal and you're about to turn into a diamond. And so, it's funny, like you said, you've always seen him bounce back.
Right.
And I have to remind myself that, bitch, you've always bounced back. So, having that in you, but also speaking to what you're saying, people not allowing you to grow, allowing you to change, allowing you to set boundaries, allowing you to state your capacity, and then kind of looking at you like you're funny. And I have felt that because one thing I really liked what you said though, part about you said the core me, that's still me, that's what gives me peace, knowing who I am and knowing the character I have, and so I like that both parts. When you said do people think that you're different? When I run into people, especially people I grew up from elementary, middle school, high school, a lot of times they're like, dang, Jay, you're exactly the same. But what I realize is that they mean like my spirit is the same.
Right.
My energy, my vibe.
There's definitely different connotations that we said. And I know when it's said to me, it's like the utmost respect. Yeah. Because there's some people who be like, that motherfucker ain't changed at all.
But then
it's not a compliment.
Well, but then on the flip side, you know, because of how aggressive and how debatable and how off the ringer I used to be, I realized that people, and including my mother, my sister, my family, shit, even my poor daughter,
they keep you there.
Well, and they're anticipating that.
They don't allow you to show you something else.
Exactly. And because they're anticipating and they're not allowing me to show them my growth, the way I can handle things, maneuver things, they keep things from me, or they feel like they don't tell me the whole truth, or they assume I'm going to have a bad reaction. So sometimes they lie about it or withhold information. And I'm like, I've continuously said, if you just keep it real and upfront, you're going to get the best response from me. And so I'm like, you guys want me to stay the monster. So then I'm battling with myself. I'm like, am I really a monster, or like, have I really grown if I'm still triggered and still reacting these ways? So it's frustrating because I want people to give me the opportunity to show that I have grown and that I have changed. But I think it's also difficult for people because unless they've had new experiences with you, that's all their point of reference is.
Yeah.
You know?
I think the hard part too is like people, where I'm at right now, friend is like 6 on my list.
Yeah. It just is what it is.
It is what, and they don't understand that. And they're, if you come to me with need, right, I'm number 1 on your list in terms of fulfilling that need for you, whatever the case may be.
Yes.
And it's like, yo, like I get where you're coming from with that.
Yes.
But in terms of pecking order of things that I got to take care of to make sure I get back to me, I got a list of 3 or 4 other things that are coming ahead of that.
Yes.
I can get to that when you want me to. I mean, when I can, not when you want me to. I can get there when I can, just not when you want me to.
And I feel like the most solid friendships I have as a cousin friends, we go through these periods where we're like, hey, I'm going to be dipped out right now. Don't take it personal. Like, and even though sometimes we take it personal because we're like, damn, I can't get a text back. I can't get a phone call back. But it's like, right now I'm focused on A, B, C, D, and E. I love you. You know I rock with you. But right now I got to focus on me. And I think that's when your real friends, your real homies, your real A1s, they show up, because the people who allow you to have that space to be like, you know what, do you. In fact, if you need something for once, why don't you fucking call me? Can I take some load off? Versus the people who get in their feelings or get defensive or try to paint you out to be like you're not a real one, like you're not down for them. Like, that's something that's like, you got to look in the mirror with yourself, dog, because you're projecting on me. I'm taking care of me and mine. I'm telling you, I will come back to you. I need your support right now. And if they're not willing to show up for you, to support you, then maybe you don't need to circle back to them.
Yeah, you're right. I felt like this, and this is my last piece on this, and then I'll let y'all wrap up, and I want to do your thing. But a gentleman that you and I both know hit me up about a month ago, and it was funny because right when you were talking, it hit me, and we were talking about pecking order and letting people know. I ain't talked to this person in 15 years, really, outside of like maybe a few DMs.
Okay.
So I get a message saying like, "Hey man, I'm stranded out here in LA. Can you send me some money?" I said, yo, that's crazy, right? I ain't talked to you really. I lied straight up. Like, hey, man, I don't even carry Venmo or Cash App and all that. You look me up, still probably found me, but I don't carry them things. But in the back of my mind, so I told another one of our friends about it, or, guys that we know, and they were like, oh, you didn't help them out? I said, it's funny. You going to criticize me right now, but you're not going to go hit them up and send them some money right now, right? And to me, it's like, yo, if you don't check in on my fam, you don't check in on me, see how I'm doing and all that other stuff, right? Then there ain't no reason for me to even send you nothing, right? I got family members right now that are doing some wild shit, right? And I ain't seen them in 25 years, and my mom ain't seen them in years. And it's like, yo, so when you finally hit a rough spot, you want to ask for something. But when you was up and we was all up, where was the check-in at? Where was the conversation at? That's why I try to remember that when people hit me up, if I ain't talked to them in a while, like I may take forever to get back to you, but that's because I want to sit down, see whatever you sent me, and give you the right time and space so I can
Same.
respond to it versus you just seeing seen on there or read in my text messages and I don't say nothing back.
Exactly.
Give me a day or two to give you a thoughtful response.
Exactly. Thank you for saying, everybody who DMs me and I don't respond, exactly what Carl said. I want to sit down and take the time to respond with intention. I get overwhelmed by all the messages.
Yeah.
But we love you. We're not ignoring you. Thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah, she is. What you talking about, man?
I'm
Look,
hating.
All right, no, I'm loving it.
I can't.
Jonah text me, said your views is up.
Yeah, I'm not over here wishing.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I check my shit once a week, asking for more messages. That just ain't.
Yeah,
Oh.
that hurts. But that's my piece on it.
No, yeah. As far as me wrapping up, I've definitely been, because that thing is what I've been seeing you do this past year, whatever you want to do it, with your new boundaries and shit. As someone who's a part of a couple of them, I'm watching it,
Yeah.
and there's a piece of me that's envious because it's like, fuck, man, I can't do that.
Yeah.
And I don't
Yes.
mean that in like, I'm so much more noble than you, or I'm a better friend than you. It's just more like, I'm not capable.
Yeah.
And I feel like the past couple months, I've shown signs of trying to get there, of actually, like, I'm over here blowing like a fucking balloon up, like, oh shit, I think I set my first boundary on somebody.
Yeah.
I love that for
But
us.
even over here, I'm like, oh, because then like you brought up earlier, like then you got to deal with what they saying on the other side.
Yeah.
And that's the part where like the people that I'm doing it to, they know it about me. So they're like, we can attack him real easy because we know he going to think about it.
Yeah.
Because he's not used to it and it's going to make him uncomfortable and then he'll fold or whatever's happening. Another thing that partially happened this week was another boundary went up. It wasn't respected and I got attacked for it and I just kind of stood tall through it and here I am. But I've been watching it and there was another boundary you set up that I brought to your attention a few days ago. And I was like sitting there kind of laying out the red carpet like, man, look, it ain't even all that. It ain't even all that. And he was like, and he took some time to think about it. He's like, you know what? Even with all that, I'm cool where I'm at. And I was like, hey.
And I think that other person's cool too.
I think they are.
And so it's like there's no reason.
They just respected it and was like, hey, it's whatever.
And that's what you're supposed
It's
to
for
do
the better.
when you're really friends.
But at the same time, yeah, because for me and the other person, we're really uncomfortable in those spaces because we don't know healthy boundaries.
Yes.
But as we're both kind of in a similar space of learning about them. So I think because it's so fresh and new and we're trying to be so mindful of it, that when we see one pop up, we don't necessarily take it as personal as we might have used to. We're just like, oh, okay. You know, it could be a million different things. They don't owe me an explanation.
Exactly.
Just respect it, and it ain't got to be no thing.
Exactly.
And
that's
that's all it is.
Yeah, and that's why you want to have people around you that are committed to their self-development, their growth. If they're not in therapy, they're finding other ways to grow, you know, because then you have that kind of understanding where like, oh, this boundary kind of feels weird or icky, but oh yeah, that's right. I shouldn't take it personal. I should allow my person to have their space.
Yeah, it's hard to accept them.
It is hard.
It's very hard to accept
It
it.
hurt my
And there were
feelings
so many
sometimes.
things I wanted to like spring off of what both y'all said.
Really?
But I was like, fuck now, we'll be here for another 2 hours. Because like for real,
Yeah.
it's a tough thing.
It is.
What he's talking about, I agree, and I ain't gonna go too deep into this, but it's just like you have to. It's hard to trust the boundary you've set. When you said that, I was thinking about the
Yes.
first grown-up boundary I ever set. I set it with a family member, and that shit's been in place for like 9 or since I've been back since 2014. I told them, don't hit me up unless it's 2 or 3 weeks in advance. They don't hit me up now. But the first like couple of months, the shit hurt. You know, on my side, but it was like, yo, you knew I gonna keep hurting me like you was before. I'm sorry. You know, and I've accepted it. And even the people around it, I've seen, you know, said members are part of that conversation in the gym, different places, all kind of shit. And it's like, hey, man, this is just our new norm.
Well, I'm so glad you said that. Boundaries actually strengthen relationships. You're not pouring from an empty cup. You don't feel like you're being taken advantage. You don't feel like you're being spread too thin. Like, you know what I mean? And it shows a lot of respect and understanding and like patience. So boundaries strengthen friendships because it's like, wow, like you really respect what I'm going through. You're really honoring my capacity level. Like, and then when you guys come back and you're able to reset the boundaries or reestablish them, like you're even more solid. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know what? There's boundaries in friendships, I said too.
Absolutely.
Like I got golf friends, I got, baseball friends and all this other, and we just regular friends. If you call me and really, really needed me, I would do it. He's just not going to do it.
Yeah.
But with you, he'll play damsel.
I'll save you.
I'm out here giving out disclaimers while I'm talking to people. Just trying to make sure, like, hey, I'm so used to being, quote unquote, the strong friend, that me being in this uncomfortable position that I've been in for a decent amount of time now, like I'm tired of, because most of the people I know are in their busy season. Mm-hmm. And so if I can't talk to you on the day-to-day, play-by-play, that whole, like we used to, that when I run into you, like a lot of people ran into the party yesterday, it's almost like, man, like I always got some shit going on. And I'm used to being like, are you good? This, and that. But I ain't been able to do that lately. Mm. And so I don't want people getting caught up being too nice to me. Mm. If I'm doing too much dumping or I'm doing too much whatever, I'm trying to be more focused on like, okay, that might be a possibility to certain people. Mm-hmm. So I'm just kind of asking everybody, hey, I'm here. I can give it up if you got time. Yeah. But if this might be too much because everybody got some other shit, just stop me.
And that's awesome. Yeah, that's all. That's perfect. That's what we want to do.
And then because that'll give me the pause. Or okay, if it is too much, but they didn't tell me, I gave them every opportunity to, so I won't feel bad about it.
Exactly.
Yes.
Some people, if they're currently overstimulated or they're just overwhelmed in general, and here I come, it's like, oh my God, like it's a lot, and I just want people to tell me that, and knowing that, hey, I'm gonna understand that.
Exactly. It's not gonna hurt my feelings.
It's not gonna hurt me.
Yeah.
All right. What you got for us?
Yeah.
It's your time to shine.
It's my time to shine.
Yes.
So I've been watching back some of the older podcasts, trying to get to know.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing my.
A lot of those are mindless.
Doing some, some digging on my guys here, and just getting acquainted with them and their ideas and listening. And I noticed, like maybe a month or two back, I was watching this podcast and you had, I don't want to say like any names, but you had a woman on there. And and I was like, it dawned on me that like maybe I'm the other woman. Like maybe I'm sloppy seconds. Like maybe I'm fucking the 257th pick for you guys. And I'm not gonna lie, my feelings were a little hurt. I felt a little jealous, like, because I was like, okay, you had another woman in here, and I hear like Carl like singing her praises. Ooh. Mind you, this man just told y'all we've known each other for years, since we were ninth grade. You're 1 year younger than me, right?
Yeah, my ninth grade, your 10th
exactly
grade, yeah.
So since we're 14, 15 years old?
Absolutely.
20 years.
Damn.
I've known my dog. Now we're not like, we haven't always kept in touch, but we check in occasionally.
I said I didn't want to be in your seat, and I get thrown straight into that motherfucker. That's crazy. Go ahead.
We carpooled after college, we're not besties, but
hey,
I would think we're cool.
Absolutely.
I don't think I've ever heard this man sing me a praise.
Damn.
Not that I need it, but I guess maybe I need it. But I've never, listening to you give this, you were giving this woman her flowers, and I want to be clear that this has nothing to do with, the other woman. Mm-hmm. I'm the other fucking woman. It has everything to do with these motherfuckers right here.
I'm just a B-mic.
And no.
Fucking crazy.
No.
That's crazy. Oh,
y'all let me slide up in here and act like y'all didn't have another girlfriend. Okay? Like there wasn't somebody else in this seat before me that was maybe going to be here an extended amount of time. And I appreciated the way you guys invited me in because it was very low pressure, which I liked.
I swear to God, I wish she knew the other side.
Which I liked.
When are we really going to start giving it up?
I know.
I'm about there.
I know.
And that's the thing, I don't want to turn this into a...
She don't even know. We would have put a fourth mic in here if she was like, hey, we're cool. You did ask me though, and maybe that's where that stemmed from.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. She was like, yo, y'all got groupies or fans that really hit y'all up? And I wouldn't classify our fans as groupies. I think that the people that listen to us and and I know the numbers, I mean, they're solid numbers. Let's just put it like this. We do in the thousands, right? When you add all the numbers together from each form.
From all the platforms.
with that being said, right?
Am I the other woman?
No.
Am I sloppy seconds?
No, because you asked me to come hang, and I was thinking it was a one-time ordeal.
Yeah.
Right? And so you came with
So
the
really, you tricked us to stay. That's crazy. I'm feeling
absolutely.
Don't you see how motherfuckers flip shit? Look at this is how they flip it.
But I'm not
us.
trying to flip it. That's what happened, right? We had been talking about this for years of you coming on.
Yeah, we have been trying to get me on
and
for
the
years.
only reason why I had never asked you because of all the things you had going on. Right? Like to be real. The same way.
And she just shot you bail for doing the same thing to me tonight.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Hey, maybe he just look at because he knows you got something going on, so he's just trying to look out for you.
And what did I say? I said, that shit always gets misconstrued. That like, I got some other ulterior motive or some other shit. But it's like, no, that other person, we extended a lot of grace, right? Like that was supposed to be out here. He's right. When are we gonna start giving it up, right? We just act like the shit never happened. We extended that.
The audience is like, who's this new bitch? What happened to the other one?
We weren't, but the way you're saying it does come across that like we were soul searching for that. Even with that situation, it was more so to deal with like, yo, come on, it's been a long time coming. You've been asking, right? And then when they got here, I was like, a same thing that happened. Oh, that shit might actually work.
But singing lots of praises. Well,
here's the thing, though. Well, I guess this was an assumption then, right? Like I was like, yo, I feel like this person needed it because they communicated something, and they later communicated something that I was right on. I don't like being right, but that person said to me and him in a text message, yo, man, y'all got this little dynamic that y'all got or whatever. Can't nobody be wrong, blah, blah, blah. I said, the hell are you talking about? I was like, this is not the we've recently been the Agreeability podcast, but first 100 episodes, we spent it fighting, and people were like, yo, don't do that shit all the time. Yeah. But my whole thing is like, yo, I think they misunderstood that. Now, I will say that with that particular person, I think that there were some other external things that were going on that we were getting the brunt for, that I was like, you know what? I'm okay with closing this door right now.
Was there a I was just thinking like, one, I'm teasing, and I don't need like the praises from you. I just got like, I was like, damn.
I get it.
I was like, I never heard him talk about me like that.
This is the exact way you should have brought this up
the first time, because the people been waiting for it.
No, I didn't. But
because we just totally kept it pushing. Two people, we didn't just introduce somebody.
Yeah, but now people did.
I just saw these episodes a few days ago, so I wasn't knowing this the first day.
There were supposed to be way more episodes.
We just kept it pushing, like nothing happened.
Like this person was supposed to show up like 3 weeks before they actually came, and I kept getting something different. Yeah, and I try to be like the cool HR. Like, yo, whatever day you can make it, what I tell you, we there every Sunday at this time or whatever. Yeah. We know if we stay consistent, it makes it easier for someone else to squeeze their time in here. Other pods, yo, look, I get it. Like, y'all, you try to, I could do this day or this day. That makes things too convoluted for guys with schedules like us. And now adding you in there and a schedule for you too. So it's like, yo, that's not going to work out. That person felt like, the last pod that we did, that person felt like they didn't understand what I was saying, where I was like, yo, we overtook the conversation and we didn't invite him into the conversation in that specific episode.
There's a lot of sensitivity to constructive criticism, and like I said, we not the most agreeable people in general all the time. And so when we're in a text thread, I'm always looking for a reason to be like, ooh, let's jump his ass. And I'm sitting here the whole time like, man, he ain't saying nothing wrong. I can't even be picky. I can't nitpick nothing right now. He's handling it with grace. Yeah. He's getting like all caps screamed at. Yeah. He's getting disrespected. And I'm just like, man.
And what put kerosene on it, though, was because this motherfucker waited until the next day. Like, we had hit a resolution. Yeah. But then he came back the next day and was like, I kind of get what he's saying now.
Okay, here's what happened. That episode wasn't good.
Well, did you hear my voice messages that I left you?
Not yet. Just tell me in my face, though. I'm bad. I'm telling you.
I don't want this to be like we're dragging somebody. I'm not here for that. But when I watched, and I even commented on the YouTube, I said to you, like, I didn't like this episode. I felt like you guys were being mean to each other. I was like, it feels mean. Like, the spirit of it didn't feel... I don't know, and I said a few other things like I feel protective of you, and I didn't like the way that I felt like you were being treated or spoken to or painted out to be in a certain
so that would just be
circumstances.
that's just their dynamic.
Yeah.
So most of the criticism we got wasn't that.
Yeah.
It was the fact that because
that's just how I felt.
we hadn't but most of the criticism we got was consistent.
Yeah.
To where the big thing was, hey, and I think it's understandable. Hey, you're adding someone new. The chemistry is not necessarily going to be there right away.
He said it on the pod too.
Yeah.
And so it's
gonna
and I said it. It's going to take a few.
Yeah, I heard you say that.
And it's because we don't know. We're used to just like, okay, I can ad lib what he's saying because if it's only one person, I got to bounce off.
Yeah.
When there's a third person, you got to get used to that.
Exactly.
And I think they had been talking about it. I wait till last possible minute to listen back to us because I don't care. It's more like
you care.
No, he didn't.
But then I also wait for the whole week. I want the week to go by since I just did
for
it
to be convenient.
But then if I go to the end of the week where a week has passed and now I'm listening to it like I don't remember what the fuck we were talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
And I listen to it and I'm like, okay, yeah, this shit sounds chaotic.
Yeah.
It sounds chaotic. And so I brought it up like, okay, this is what it is.
Yeah.
And she wasn't used to the fact that if we get people hit us all the time about random shit, and we be like, all right, whatever. But if enough people say the same thing,
it must be
then
true.
we're like, all right, so that was kind of crazy. Just like he said, when people said, y'all need to stop doing that.
Yeah, yeah.
Because sometimes we would get caught up on one minor detail, and we would argue for that for like 20 minutes. And they're like, yo, I get when the mics are on, it's a different experience. Go outside and talk about that shit for 20 minutes. That's fine. But when people are trying to have an experience listening to y'all, that really takes away from it.
It does.
And she got very sensitive about the constructive criticism.
Mm-hmm.
And then she took it as, well, apparently y'all were perfect before I got here, so everything must be my fault. And then she kind of just took that shit to the next level.
And I use a lot of we.
Yeah.
Not you. He's right, because I reread those messages a lot. I use a lot of we. Not you. Hey, we got to get better because I indulged in some of the shit on there though, right? Like I went to our dynamic with our dynamic, not knowing that hey, there's other listeners and he's here. So when I listened to it before they even said anything, I was like, oh shit, we kept cutting them off. We kept changing the subject matter on them.
And I understand their dynamic, so I was letting it cook, but I was like, I was kind of double dutching, like, all right, cook. I was like, damn, I just don't know when. And I'm not trying to talk over people or have 3 people going at once. So I'm kind of posted up. But even then, I'm like, all right, we going to get it eventually because I know her enough to where it's like, all right. But then we just never got there because she just turned that shit all the way up and was just like, well, fuck everybody.
I'm going to let you rock, but I'm going to give you your flowers first because this is where you're going to get them. Okay?
Yeah, it's been a lot more seamless.
Yeah, I understand. So that person, right, brings a certain comedic value that is hilarious when they get on a roll.
Yeah.
Don't nobody make me laugh like that. Like
street
that
shooter.
person.
That's like my ultimate goal.
What I appreciate about you is that you bring another perspective or a softer side that we haven't seen before. That person is very enmeshed in the culture. It can bring those things together, but you're also enmeshed in like big political ideas or big conversation talk pieces, like how you got on his ass last weekend during Father's Day, right? That was a certain perspective because someone sent me a message and was like, yo, you like to rile your guests up all the time, but she took it like a G. Like, or y'all, he said y'all like to do that.
I love that.
And it was like, all right, see, not even in that same vein, someone could have had that and you went about your rest of your week like you did and ended up back here in that seat because we was able to get past that shit on the mic. You know what I mean? And still have a solid episode after that. So with that being said, I think that the resilience that you display that you may not want to have to like display and not go through the shit in the first place, right? You just like in your life, you display that on the mic. Right? And you display that in your character. Don't matter what's going on in your life. If you see something that's unjust or something that you need to speak out about, that is your greatest strength and quality.
All right, no more.
All right.
Making me cry.
My bad. I just wanted to be honest.
Whoa!
You asked for it. He gave it to you. Yeah, that's what you wanted. So, but I'm being honest, right?
Thank you.
And I couldn't make. That's not making it up. That's the truth, right?
Yeah.
That's exactly what has happened in your life and what it transpires here. So, yeah. Whatever you was gonna say.
All right, Carl. I love you.
Hey, Jay Gard, y'all fuck with me now, right?
Come give my boy some love.
Jay Gard to come fuck with me now. We're gonna make Jay Gard shirts.
That might have been one of the most thoughtful things everyone's ever said to me. Thank you, Carl.
Don't do that because your husband may listen.
Speaking of, that's funny. Real quick, I'll circle back. But I did ask my husband, not to get too much into anything, but me and my husband were going through a little bit of a difficult time. But we still talk. We're still cool. And I asked him because he hadn't said much about me being on the podcast. My husband is Middle Eastern. He's in his 40s. He's very ego driven, but also very prideful. He's not the jealous type. And even when he is jealous, he's got too much pride to let me know he's jealous.
Okay.
Like he's almost like...
Are you Middle Eastern? Keep going. Go ahead.
Like he's almost like, I'm always like, you don't tell me I'm beautiful enough. And he's like, because you're beautiful. Like, I don't need to tell you. And I'm like, but you're the person I want to hear it from, like, on a regular basis. So anyways, I feel like he almost like withholds those because he doesn't want to like, not make my head big. But anyway, so I asked him, I was like, what do you think about all this? I was like, this is the deal. Sunday is church and podcasting days for me. What do you think? My husband, there's a language barrier. And so we have a hard time understanding him. He caught a little bit of the episode the other day when I put it on the TV, and I saw his ass looking real hard. So I was like, how are you feeling? And he was like, it's good for you. It's good for you. Like, you can talk. He says I talk too much. He's like, you can talk. And I was like, all right. And I was like, are you feeling any type of way? And he was like
you was throwing some sauce on it though.
Because
he heard you. That's why he was talking about my height and shit. He was trying to get him riled up. You trying to get me hit on the streets. I don't even know what's coming.
That's crazy.
No, because he wasn't like really like telling me like, he wasn't saying shit about it. So I was like, what are you thinking? Like, what do you feel? And then, so when I asked him and he was like, it's good for you. I asked him, I said, are you jealous? And he was like, he was like, yeah. He just said like, yeah. And I said, are you jealous of the guys or are you jealous of the podcasting? And he said, and then laughing, he was like, both. And we both started busting up laughing.
There's some comfort knowing that, like, I'm married.
Hey, clip it up.
Yeah.
You got kids in family situations that be dealing with.
You got situations.
Well, you got something. I don't know what you want to say about it. That's why I keep saying something. I'm not saying that in a disrespectful.
That's what I was telling her outside. I said, eventually, I can't really talk about what happened this week. Because there's not a lot of context to building up to what happened.
Even if you told what happened, it's not going to make sense.
We tap dance around a lot of stuff to where I think a lot of people can figure out certain things.
Yeah. Right.
But, and that's another thing, too. I feel like, or, maybe I'll just kind of give you a couple more flowers while you're here.
Oh, yeah. Yes, exactly.
The initial woman, I don't think we were going to get to a point to where some of these other some of the initial conversations we were having probably were never going to happen, right? And then now I feel like it's going to get brought up and you're going to get all the credit for it, but I think I was heading this way anyway. Because I'm over here like, I'm pretty much here. I can start giving it up now. But now that you're here to kind of bounce off of it, especially knowing the little I know about you, to where it's like, okay, that...
What's that mean?
Because you know how to navigate certain language and certain heavier topics to where it's going to make more sense listening back.
Yeah, definitely.
To where it's like, okay. And the level of comfort that's going to come from talking about some of these bigger things, knowing like, okay, I'm not alone.
No, not at all.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I'm over here just looking for a reason to turn some shit up. And all... and that's what, but it's just funny because he's like, well, you got situations, right. And it's like, we don't got to talk like that no more.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, whatever the hell you wanted to set the tone.
No, I know. I'm just
telling you. You know me on my side. I'm easy to blame, right? I'm fucking like and I take that. It's been like that my whole life, right? But I think that what you're talking about, though, you said that he came in like that when he first got here, right? And I think the problem is most people forget. If they really know me, like what I actually do, like this is easy for me.
Yes.
Like to soften the blow and say, look, man, just drop your shit at the door. Let's just have a regular fucking conversation.
Yeah.
Right? I tell my wife this all the time. I was like, yo, you're not with me because I'm like the most finest dude in the world. You with me because of like the comfort.
Insurance. Oh.
No, not even that. The comfort. She make more than me now, right? But the
shout out wifey.
Absolutely, right? But the comfort that she was going around telling people like, yo, man, like the space, like the way he advocates and has me like speak and shit like that. So it's like, it's not even just like our level is our level, but with everyone else, I'm always the same too. It's like, yo, facial expressions. You tell somebody about your fucked up situation. Oh my God.
Yeah, exactly.
That will get you. Me, it's like, all right,
it's
shit.
even Kelton.
Let's keep going then. Like, let's keep delving. Let me give an experience that like shines into that. But to add to his point, the first 10 episodes, his significant other at the time was mad of how he was giving it up on the mic. Like, yo, like, you don't never have any conversations, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yo, like, maybe it's just because I asked certain questions, you know what I mean? Or like I say that, oh, that's wild, but let's keep going a little further. I don't know how to explain it, man. I've always been like that. I don't have a problem with talking with people. Just like when we went to Grand Turk, my man, and you know, his shoes was dirty, his bike was all rusted from the beach and all that. And it's like we had a full conversation.
Why
it's like,
wouldn't
yo, well, because other people won't.
You're right. I'm
willing to go where other people aren't willing to go to. Yeah.
But you're absolutely right.
Like, I can give a fuck about an argument. Like, we can have argument and we can get over that shit if that's where. And I've shown that too recently, right? I can have an argument with somebody, right? But if we can get over the hump of the bullshit, I can get to the crux of what we need to.
Yeah.
You just got to be willing to know that, hey, look, like, this is a moment. We can always have this conversation and I'm approachable. But
exactly.
So I can see where he's coming from in that, because he's different. His culture is different. You know what I mean? But for me specifically, nah. But my dad's not like that. Right? My mother is. It's a learned behavior. Right?
Yeah.
So she'll keep pulling. And he be like, nah, get the fuck out. Like, I don't want this shit or whatever. So I understand that. And because I probably seen that as like, if I see those both approaches, I'll choose my mother's approach.
Yeah.
Short and simple. Not so much short. Hit my hand claps. All right, let's get to it. Still getting to it. Let's have a little fun. All that shit was fucking heavy deep, right?
Yeah, let's get
So I want to have some fun.
Let's seriously.
All right, so I found this story, right? Okay. And I thought that this was funny, okay? You didn't see it, and you didn't see it because it didn't show up on the notes. He didn't look, right? Because I copied and pasted. All right, so my boyfriend, 28, and me, 29, have been together for 3 years. I love him so much. He's my best friend. But I don't know how to... did I say fun facts? I mean, read them and weep. Read them and weep. But I don't know how to process everything he told me, so I've come here to get opinions from people of different ages and kinks. Basically, my boyfriend has a mommy kink. It started when we were cuddling and he laid on me. He started sucking on my nipples.
Okay.
And he does that a lot now. I never put two and two together until he told me he wants me to call myself mommy and tell him he's a good boy. I asked him why he likes it, and he cannot explain. As time has gone on, it's gotten more and more. He wants me to put lotion on his body after the shower. He said he likes when I treat him like a baby. Not literally a baby, but he just likes being baby, like how I talked to our kitten when she was a baby. As we were talking about this kind of kink, he brought up something that concerned me the most. He said, yeah, I saw my mom change a few times when I was a kid, and I felt weird. Now I can't really look at him the same with his mom again. He told me she was overly critical of him, but she also was very loving and thoughtful. She wants to do everything for him, and he describes her as overbearing, but there was no neglect or abuse that I knew of. He does seem to have an issue with his dad a little bit. Can anyone talk to me about the psychology of this? It's a lot to unpack there. But I thought this shit was crazy interesting. What it reminded me of was Silence of the Lamb, Jay and Silent Bob, or not Jay and Silent Bob, but the dude, it puts the lotion on his skin, like that type of like level of nonsense. But some people have their little kinks, right? The things that they like. And what I've noticed is that even within myself, as I've gotten older with my partner, we got our own little thing that we do that I've never done with somebody else, right? In terms, but being real, right?
Yeah.
Like being in a long-term committed relationship gives both parties a level of freedom that they may have not have had previously before. This sounds very wild coming from me.
If their partner is encouraging, supportive, and inviting.
Yeah, he out here sucking toes now.
Carl's into some freaky shit.
But he's in a 10-year
Carl's
relationship.
nasty.
I know you not by, or longer than that. But you know, like I know you not. But with that being said, right, that is a thing. Because I started noticing that. Like if me and my wife broke up right now, I'd be like whoever I was like before
You'd
we
revert.
met. I'd be like very respectful in the manner, right? But I don't know if that would do it for me anymore, right? Not for real. We got to get to that. We got to be able to say that.
It's level.
Look at
Okay, you said I ain't got to say it no more. Post everything.
No.
Do you feel like you? He said no. Still put a disclaimer.
no. Okay.
I was getting my toes wet. Don't push me. Phone's in my pocket.
Yeah. No, yeah, I'm still the same. I don't think I have nothing crazy though. I don't really judge people on their kinks. If anything, I'm looking at the psychology of it. And me, I don't know shit about shit. It sounds like his mom he was a sheltered kid, and his mom was literally every single thing to him. And so that's all he knows. So in searching for a partner, it has to be mom. And it just got to a very unhealthy level to where it's like, or maybe not unhealthy because whatever works for y'all, I guess.
But getting sexual arousal out of that is kind of crazy.
Well,
yeah, but at the same time, we're taught, at least nowadays, that we can't really look down on people's kinks.
well, this is the kink world, and a part of this kink is like it falls into like what is it? The SDA. What is the acronym?
I don't
We
know.
looking to you for this information.
I don't know
kinky.
about that.
I'm a little
Are
kinky.
you talking about like bondage?
Yeah, so there's like, I can't think of the words because I'm still a newbie, but it's like SDAM. This community is going to come for me, but it's like this community where there's different kinks and there's different levels of like being submissive or dominant. Like you've heard of dominatrix, you've heard of like there's daddy fetishes, there's like baby fetishes, there's dog, like you want to be dominated, like your dog fetish. And I'm sure there is some kind of like level of psychology. I know that I was dating a guy before I was married. and he was.
You gotta go home after this.
No, it's cool. It's tomorrow we gotta worry about.
Now, this guy was about to let.
Okay.
How PG is our show?
Nah, we going there now.
We here.
We're here now.
This guy was.
We're gonna write it while we're behind time.
Fuck it. I'm just gonna own this shit.
There we go.
God
It's gonna
bless
feel
us.
good, too.
I have always wanted to peg somebody. Okay.
Oh.
Lord,
I can't
Good for
clip
you.
that one.
Mom, if you're listening, dip out now.
Oh, that's crazy. All right, we're here.
I've always wanted to peg somebody.
Okay.
And I met this guy that was willing to allow me
I wouldn't
to
have even got to that
experiment.
conversation.
And he was like coaching me through it. You know what I mean? He was telling me how to do it all.
Oh,
Whatever.
it's not his first rodeo.
No,
Okay,
I'm sure
not at all. Not at all.
And so he was a really very kinky guy. And one of his kinks that he liked, it wasn't a role he did with me because I wasn't comfortable with it.
Yeah.
But he broke it down to me, was this baby kink, right? And I'm a mom. And this was before I had the twins, but I still had my oldest daughter.
Right.
And so, like, when he explained the kink, because, you know, we were talking about exploring our kinks. So one of my kinks that I always wanted to try was to you know, fuck.
Yeah. I got you. That's crazy.
She been working on the stroke for a minute.
Oh, man.
I gotta get this off.
I got a strong stroke game.
Strong stroke is crazy. I'm about to use that as a title.
For the record,
that's crazy.
Actually, I'm not even going to tell you guys if I've ever pegged anybody or not. I'll just leave it to the imagination.
There we go. That's cool.
But so
if we polled that, though, I think that court of public opinion would get you. But she's right, because right when you said that, there was something that someone told, and I'm gonna save you right now. There was something that someone told me in passing that I thought was one of the most wildest shit.
Yeah,
and it fucked with me for like 2 days. But that person told me like on a Monday.
Yeah.
So by the time we got into here, and Sunday came. Yeah. Shit was gone.
Are you guys gonna look at me differently now?
No, absolutely not. Because what I'm about to tell you is kind of crazy. So I'm gonna say my man's, because I don't want to put no descriptors on this. But my man's was telling me about this girl that he was dating that was telling her about the kink that her partner had. Okay, but he was dating her too. So I was like, yo, if you telling me this, I don't know what else was going on between y'all two. right? But she was dating this guy, and he liked to be urinated on, right? And that was his thing. Now, here's the thing. In my mind, right, as growing up as a kid, seeing shit on screens and shit, it just don't exist. It only exists like on the TV or the web browser when you pass it through all the thumbnails.
You never peed on anybody.
I've never, no, hell no.
Nobody's
It's
ever asked you to pee on them.
I'm pretty vanilla.
Nobody asked you.
Ask me? Oh no, I've been asked a lot of shit.
Someone's asked you to pee on them?
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Did you do it?
No.
Have you ever peed on somebody?
And then in the shower, maybe.
No,
On accident?
Yeah.
You ain't shit. Sorry, babe. Oops.
There's just a small shower in here, you know what I mean?
Oh shit! But this dude, right? He really liked it when she peed on him. So one day they're getting to it, right? He's trying to get her in the mood and the whole nine and everything, right? So she's like, all right, let me freshen up, right?
Yeah.
So she goes in the bathroom, right? She uses the bathroom, cleans herself up, whatever the hell she's doing, right? Comes back outside. He's sitting on the edge of the bed, fully clothed now, right? She's like, yo, what happened? He said to her,
how dare you go to the bathroom?
you know I wanted that.
Hey, respect.
And when he said that shit, right, that fucked with me. I had an awkward silence like y'all did, right? Because it was like, I knew what he was going to say.
Yeah.
It was, how was he going to say it, right? Because how he said it is what fucked me up. You know I wanted that. And that mean, and I was just thinking, like, he's sitting there and, like, he heard the shit hitting the water. And he's like, this motherfucker, he's like, you know that's the go-to for me.
I feel him too.
How dare you?
Not that specific feeling.
How dare you?
How dare you? How dare you waste that precious piss?
Yeah, that's crazy to me, right? That part is what got me.
We're not yucking nobody's yum out here.
I'm just saying. So
wow.
I can't. I was telling my man this today because he was asking me like what the topics were, and I read this to him. And I was like, yo, we probably like played golf or like ran into these individuals. They could be everyday people.
For sure.
And that is what fucks me up.
This guy was a brewer at one of the most popular breweries in San Diego.
That makes sense to me.
Actually,
if you told me he was an investment banker, that would fuck me up a little bit.
Actually, this same guy went on our first date. Gosh, well, and now you're gonna know I fucked him on the first date. He took me to the brewery. He took me to the brewery.
Real?
He gave me the full-on fucking tour. I got to see the big-ass, what are they? The big-ass metal things
where
they
brew ferment
beers.
do
Yeah. I got to taste beer straight from the tap. Then he took me to his boss's office where we fucked.
That's crazy.
That was a fun-ass date.
That's crazy.
That was fun.
I like that. I like the little risky places where you're like, ooh.
I love fucking in public. That's one of my biggest keys.
I think I'm pretty vanilla. But then I guess some people are like, oh, you're just underrating what that is.
What's the nastiest thing you've ever done?
Because I don't think it's super nasty.
Okay, where's the most public place you've ever had sex?
At a wedding in a stairwell. No.
How public was the stairwell?
The top of 7-Eleven.
That's pretty.
The top of 7-Eleven?
That's pretty public too.
All right. I'll give you that.
That's crazy. Me?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe a car somewhere parked off somewhere. That's not. Yeah, I know.
Lame.
Real whack. Real whack. That's like.
I guess it just depends on who you talking to. Because I feel like, no, I don't think I'm that nasty. I don't think I'm like super adventurous.
Yeah.
Like I'll it's like, no, we can handle business. I can do certain things.
That's what I want to hear when I'm getting fucked. We're gonna handle business.
I'm a pleaser.
All right, we're getting better.
But I'm not sitting here like, hey, can I peg? No, fuck, you cannot peg me. Back the fuck up. Matter of fact, I'm gonna sit on that.
Would that shock you right now? If somebody asked you like, Lex, I want to peg you, would you go about your day
First
like as if like you weren't asked that?
Like I wasn't. Yeah.
You gotta know your audience. Obviously, I'm not walking up to like guys like you and you know that I know would never be down for that.
So you
shit.
saying you had like a forum?
Like,
huh?
You hit like a forum up. Because I've learned that too. That there's like people online shit.
Yeah.
Well, like because
you can find your communities.
Same dude that I told you that was oh shit, I can't say it.
Or
like
people that like to be choked, right? That's like a kink. But I feel like it's, in my mind anyway, I feel like that's more mainstream to where it's like that's not crazy.
But not everybody likes that. That is
not everybody likes it. And then I feel like, okay, the only.
Do you have a kink?
No, not really.
There's not something that you
don't
like.
Suck toes. You don't like. I don't know. You don't like to titty fuck. You don't like to. Nothing, huh? Just boring, straight up
I
vanilla.
wouldn't say.
Disappointing.
I mean, sure, titty fuck is
Okay,
fine,
here we
but I
go.
don't know if that's is that a kink?
Here we go.
Maybe not.
In human sexuality, kinkiness is the use of non-conventional sexual practices, concepts, or fantasies.
I feel like that's
The
relative.
term derives from the idea of bend, a kink, and some sexual behavior to contrast such behavior with straight or vanilla sexual mores and, proclivities, or whatever that word is.
So anything that is just abnormal.
And that's
potentially.
relative, though. That's relative.
That's what I'm saying. That,
It is subjective, huh?
but most kinks don't have to end in sexual gratification.
Like a release.
Yeah, no, the release is different. Just comes from a different place, right? Like that's why I said I'm thinking of like Silence of the Lamb type shit because like that was a sexual release for that person.
Yeah.
I've watched enough Criminal Minds. I've read enough files in my day to know like what people may consider as a release.
Yeah. For this listener, I will say that the guy who was into the baby kink, which I was like, I'm not feeling that, and he respected that boundary. Because I was asking him, like, I was kind of thinking, I think how she was thinking, like, are you thinking of your mom when you're sucking my titties? Like, don't get me wrong, I love getting my titties sucked, but not if you're imagining I'm your mom or like, but what he, and I can only speak from my conversation with him, was he really did tell me that it wasn't like, he wasn't thinking about his mother. It wasn't as weird as maybe we might think it was, you know?
Because isn't it like the top, like the porn searches, like damn near like incest shit or like stepsister or whatever it is?
I don't know. Do you?
I thought Asian porn was the most.
No, I feel like it's some wild type
of.
of. Somebody brought it up where it's like some like the top search is kind of crazy.
I wonder where that derives from, though. You get what I'm saying?
The world is a
Like
sick
based
place.
off of what he was saying, though, right? Like his mother is the person that he was asking her to be. Mm-hmm. Right, he was asking her to like baby him, and he said like there was no neglect or like sexual anything or whatever.
But because the mainstream version is flipped around, right? Women call us daddy, and we don't really put the same type of shit on it. And I always look at it like, hey,
the women call daddy.
The women who call me daddy,
Really?
usually the women who call me daddy ain't got one.
You're so annoying, Lex. I can't stand you. Like, you guys don't understand. Sometimes I love Lex so much, and then other times I'm like, I can't stand
But
you.
there's some truth in what he's saying. Though.
So they searching for some type
Only
of...
bitches who don't have daddies call
No, that was-
motherfuckers
My wife
daddy.
definitely.
No.
My
I
wife
said-
call me daddy, and she has her dad. She's like, I have a dad.
I said for me.
And to be fair, I had my dad in and out of my life, and I have called people daddy. So maybe
But there's
maybe
nothing
if
wrong.
you have a strong relationship with your father, you don't say that because you're connected to them.
Well, they say because the
And
Dominican women.
that was my only point. And I was saying to me, not only girls that don't have dads call whoever they're gonna call daddy.
you're just saying
I just said
your-
for
your
me,
experience.
from what I've seen.
I know. We know. We wants to make sure you're not generalizing.
But Dominican women and Puerto Rican women go around calling men poppy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a quick end.
For you, and see how you responded.
Look how he got it.
That's
His
a quick-
dick got hard right now.
Hey, if you
Okay?
want this to last a little longer,
Dick
you
jumped
stay
a
away
little
from.
bit.
But they say we call everyone poppy,
right.
So
No,
it's
I know,
like,
but-
and even the
Yeah,
men
we
call
call
you
our kids poppy.
Yeah.
The men call you poppy too. Hey, poppy, you want this one
Yeah.
right here? And so it's like, yo, but when a woman says it, I think that's the man saying, yo, you're hitting whatever need I need right now by calling me poppy.
Right.
If you acknowledge it that way. Because if you went over there, the men are going to call you poppy too, and you're not going to think anything of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
What do you think? Is he weird and she should leave him, or you think she should
no,
just
I
rock
just think
with him?
that that's his thing. And if she ever got into it, then I don't see it morphing. Like right now, it doesn't look like it's going to morph into anything else. But I don't know if she's able to do that.
Yeah.
See, here's my thing.
There's somebody for everybody.
Yeah, exactly. Because the respect thing for me is like, yo, if we have kids and you acting like one of them, like just to like, meet some like unmet need that you have, that's not going to work for me.
No,
At all.
this is a bedroom thing only.
Yeah. Well, I can't compartmentalize that.
Right, get out there and be.
Go be grown.
Go
Like,
pay a bill.
And I think
I've
they
had a
say
long day
men.
today. I'm
Hey,
gonna curl up
wait a
underneath
minute
you.
though. Wait a minute though. Who don't like someone else lotioning them up after a shower?
I love that shit.
That is kind of fire.
I love it.
Yeah, she just mad. Chill out.
Yeah.
All right, the consensus is if you love your man, accept his kink.
Yeah, absolutely. And if not, yeah, you can get up out of there. Right. Get on up.
The tribe has spoken.
Everybody get on up. All right, go ahead, my hand class, man. We'll do this last one. I've been trying to get this one off for a minute now.
Okay.
We'll end with fun fact. Oh, I already did these. Fun facts. I only did some of these. Research suggests that taking a day off from work has significant health benefits.
I agree.
That's why they're trying to shoot for this 4-day work week.
That's not going to work.
No,
that's not good for the economy. And when I heard that Japan is doing 6 days, I was like, look, man, we need to get on our job.
How is it not good for the economy? If people are more well-rested, they can be more productive.
It depends how long of a term you're looking at, right? Because
are you still getting your 40-hour-a-week pay period?
You thinking, okay, we lose a whole day of productivity, and you thinking on some short-term shit. And she's looking at it like, hey, you know what? If everyone in general is more rested and the morale's higher, most people can get 5 days of work done, or the work they're gonna do in 5 days in 4, if they feel better about what they're doing, right? The same reason why there's some of these like people who are thinking one step further or progressively, who are putting gyms in their buildings and allowing you to go work out on company time or whatever it is, because they're like, hey, if you guys are fit, we're gonna save a ton of money in the insurance premiums because y'all motherfuckers is lazy, or these bad life habits might contribute to our health system later. And with the health system being so strained, if we can just get everybody invested in a better, fitter lifestyle,
preventative care,
even if it costs a little bit of productivity at work, is going to benefit the entirety of what's going on. So you just got to think outside of the box, longer term, and
more
just on a bigger
productivity,
level.
more money.
Here's where I disagree with you, and this is one big thing that it's the biggest out of that. Can you afford to miss 4 days out of your paycheck right now? Can you?
Absolutely.
No. But see,
because if the rest of because I know how this shit runs out, right? If the rest of the U.S. doesn't like catch on board to that, right? That's going to affect the economy. That's going to affect a lot of things.
I was thinking same pay within 4 days. So you're right. If we're losing income, especially if people are working off of hourly, not salary, then the hourly
work is a little trick. It's hard to pull off because it's so systematically infused.
And why would you pay for that 5th day if they're not working as a company? I understand
because if I can get all the work that I'm gonna do, in fact, I'm saving you time. Maybe like if I can still get the work done, I should be paid.
It's easier said when you're thinking about it on just a segment of population who's on salary that works 5 days a week, that has a caseload or a certain amount of work or whatever, and it gets more difficult when you start putting in hourly people or people that don't have 5 days a week. Sometimes they do 6, sometimes they do 3 or 2, or I gotta work weekends, or like fast food workers and shit like that. It gets a little harder to pull off in those arenas. Mm-hmm. But like for my job, I can easily work 4 days a week.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. But then I can't deal with one less day the doctor's office is open either. You get what I'm saying? Like other small things that, like the 5 days that we have right now, we've been, my fault. We've been so accustomed to it. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's hard to say. If we had one more day off tomorrow, I'd be looking to do something like constructive with my day.
Yeah, for sure.
Right, but that would benefit
right
you in a way to where it would help you be more productive with the 4 days at work.
If those things could still be open too, right? Like I would have my dentist appointment on my 3rd day off. I would go.
Right, but just because you're it doesn't mean everybody works Monday through Thursday and then everything's
everybody
closed.
Has the same 4 days.
It's just, hey, everyone's working 4 days. So, okay, maybe we need an extra person to rotate since there's an extra day off for everybody.
We need to bring a third party in here to run the cost analysis if that's going to even work out then, right? Because there's certain things that just aren't open like on the weekend that we would normally have. And with that 4 days on, change up our actual like work week versus weekend week. That's what I would want to know.
But that you're just assuming everybody works Monday through Friday.
I'm assuming that most dentist offices are open Monday through Friday. Doctor's offices are open Monday through Friday.
If we change the
Insurance
model, maybe
places are
their
open
models
Monday
would
through
change
Friday.
too.
It'll still be open Monday through Friday, but the people that are working there only like 7-Eleven is open 24/7. I didn't work there all day, all night. I worked there however many days I worked there, and then you just
5 days a week.
It's just everybody that works there is only working 4 days.
I get what you're saying. Nothing of what you're saying right now would change it being open 24/7 right now. But running the, I'm gonna explain to you. I'm gonna get into your little mind state of business and all this other shit. To turn on the lights somewhere costs money, right? To have a business open or whatever, and how much traffic comes in there, earns money too, right? There's operational costs. There's a bottom line. You start adding more people in here to accommodate that schedule, those companies are gonna spend more money.
And what they're saying is, based on whatever they was running, the average person's productivity level can be the same if you give them one extra day off. That the amount of work done will be the same in the 4 days as if they were there 5. They're just not there the 4.
I want to know what sectors they did that in then. Like
that would be interesting to know what sectors.
Who they actually did. Because like the construction workers, I can see that. Right? They work Monday through Sunday, right? It just depends on whatever the job is.
Do you feel like you need all 5 days right now to complete everything that you normally would complete?
Well, they hella understaffed, and some of their shit be
I'm just asking him personally, or do you think you could bang it out in 4 days?
We offer that. So we offer people, but it's a time thing, right? So you can work 10-hour 410s is what they call it.
I love that option.
But I personally don't like getting off of work at 5:30 or 6 o'clock. I need to already be in the gym, like ready to get on the Stairmaster and go lift some weights.
Yeah.
Right? But that third day would be nice because I could spend my off day. So like there are things to it, but my job isn't gonna sit up here and say, we're gonna offer people to work on this weekend day too. Still,
and your lens is very capitalistic, right? And the capitalistic view is to how do we make the most money out of people? How do we get the most profit and proficiency and like da-da-da? Whereas like globally, where I hope we're moving is like away from capitalism and more of like, well, how do we actually all have a human experience where people can still make money, we can still be profitable, but we're supporting people in their wellness, because it's proven that when people are supported in their wellness, they are more productive. Like, you know,
and that's why it's still, I think what you meant to say is old school capitalism.
Yeah.
Because it's still capitalistic with they're not talking about giving us a 5-day weekend.
No, yeah.
They're just saying, hey, we can be the same level of productivity, but more efficiently if we give them this extra day off. Because if it loses any productivity, they probably won't do it.
You're right. It's still coming from a capitalistic standpoint. But at least
if they're trying to optimize everything, then yeah, we can give them this one day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I don't know. I gotta see that. Look, does the part of me want to have that third day off? Absolutely, right. But I know what we're gonna do. We're just gonna stack that day with more impossible shit for us to do anyway, right? That's all we're gonna do. Let me close this. Damn, big ass jet. I got it. All right, here we go. What's the next one? As you get older, your brain begins to stop getting pleasure from new music, causing your musical taste to stagnate. Which you knew I was thinking of you. Look how we're connected. You would have missed this one. He would have heard back. I gotta add some tape. Research from the International Federation of Phonographic Industry have different but generally complementary theories to account for these population level trends. Some interpret the observed decline in music engagement in terms of psychosocial maturation. Adolescents use music as an identity marker and engage with it to navigate social circles. Adults have developed personalities and established social groups. As such, drivers to engage with new music are lessened. These same research point to age-related changes, hearing acuity, specifically a lowering, this is a lot of big-ass words, lowering tolerance for loud and high-frequency sound, as one could become reduced interest in new music for some people. Here's the thing. I think that this is valid because I feel like my maturation with music stops with a certain time period in my life. And now I gravitate to new music that comes out that lends itself towards old shit that I had. That's why I think that Hitmaker had a really good run, but it was only a run that we recognized from the time periods that he drew from. You get what I'm saying? So like when he uses an old school jagged edge, beat or whatever, Like, we may think that song is bigger than what it actually is, but it's just the feeling of being back in that time period. You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So I feel like Lex, he does listen to new music, but the new music that Lex listens to lends its credence and roots in the shit that he loves
that
the
he's
most.
always loved.
It holds roots in there. Look, I got him now.
Do you find yourself like open to like new genres? You know, like do you?
The thing is, I think there's a window of time in everybody's life that I don't think anybody can really escape. It just kind of is what it is. Whatever years you are, like 12 to 20 or whatever it is, whatever comes out in that is what's going to be like with you forever.
It's going to shape your musical taste.
And then so when people come back and show you a little piece of that, you're like, oh, okay, this is familiar.
Nostalgic.
My ears are used to it. And so as things progress and change and evolve, your ears are like, I don't know what it is, because you're further and further away from this window of time to where you're just not worried about it. And so for me to answer this question, it's kind of hard. It's like, obviously there is that. And then there's the struggle of, okay, but I just think the music industry is also getting lazier. And because of just the world's attention span becoming smaller, everything's a lot more microwavable, a lot more. There's just, and just given how the music industry pays people, why put all this time, effort, and energy and money into a project that people are just going to either skip over, or everybody's like, all right, when's the next one? They're not going to sit there and appreciate it. I'm not going to get paid off of it to where I'm not going to put any effort into it. So yeah, as a listener, I'm hearing that. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, this is great, when clearly it sounds like you made this over the weekend. And not cared about it.
What do you think?
I think that, like, I think both of your points are interesting and spot on. That the point of reference where we build our musical appetite and preferences and tastes, I think, is definitely developed in the age group you're in and what you're listening to. So I can see why it would be easy for adults to not have the appetite to grow their musical intake. However, I agree with that part, but I also have noticed that if you're like a music lover, like I'm someone, I love music. It's a big part of my life. I use it as motivation, as energy, etc. I find as I meet new people in my life, maybe in communities that I haven't maybe belonged to before, that I get exposed to new music. And because I'm open to that exposure, then I find myself like, I've gotten into country the last few years. I never listened to no fucking country. My dad was playing Dr. Dre, Snoop. I grew up on probably the same music you guys grew up. My mom loved Mint Condition, Jagged Edge. So I grew up on that kind of like West Coast, what's his name? DJ Quick is my dad's favorite. That's my favorite. So I grew up on that West Coast hip hop and that R&B, and then my mom loved reggae. So that was my musical, what I went to listen to. And then as I got older and I started meeting adults and listening to country music, listening to my friend I mentioned a few weeks ago who was from Africa, she got me into like the Afro beats, that shit hits. And so I feel like as adults, we should challenge ourselves to open, especially us music lovers, to new genres, because there might be a whole world out there that we're missing.
They brought up one point that I think I agree with, is that adults have less time to find new music. So basically what they were...
True.
And there's more forms of media to distract you from music.
Absolutely. So what their point was, like, to be frank, one explanation for age-based reduction in music consumption simply posits that responsibility laden adults may have less discretionary time to explore their musical interests than younger people.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is why, like, I always ask him, he walks around with headphones all the time, Monday through Friday, just listening to music. And I'm like, bro, I've tried that, but like, it's hard for me to engage in work.
Really?
And listen, because I have to talk to people at my job.
And with the newer music, even though it's in my ear all the time, because I still am doing other shit, it does take away from it is kind of becoming like a half-ass listen. And so when I'm going through shit that I know and I grew up on, it's there. And so when I'm hearing this background music, I can still hear everything because it's there. But when I'm trying to do the newer shit, I'm just like, yeah, this sounds cool, but I'm still doing whatever I'm doing. And I don't think I've really just sat down. There's only certain times when I sit down with nothing else going on and music is playing. Because mostly music's a background thing to where I'm trying to be productive in something else, cleaning or whatever the fuck I'm doing. And it just helps me.
And to be fair, I only make that sit down time, like to listen to an album or is when it's an old, like someone I already know and I already like. I'm not going to sit down with a brand new artist and dedicate my time to listening to this.
Well, when you do that, I found that like out of 13, 14, this is why I tapped
How
out.
many tracks?
Like we used to do the little hip hop.
2 tracks
thing.
you like?
Yeah, 2 out of 12, and it's like sonically the shit is like painful for me to get through sometimes. like my man who I was talking to earlier today, like I said, I was telling him some of the shit. He played Lifestyle by Young Thug and Rich Homie Quan. I said, to tell you the truth, right, during that time period, right, this is where my marker stops. Is like right here.
Yeah,
I fuck with this song. Like, don't get me wrong. I understand where
the lyrics in that song are
sicker
crazy.
than your average. I say, yeah, I know that Big Papa song is fire and shit, and it has meaning. But Lifestyle to me had meaning too, because I was still out in spaces, and that song bridged between like what was playing then to where we're at now. And I could take that bridge, but what it morphed into, just like for a lot of kids, they think that XXX Tentacion was their Tupac. Right? Like the way that he went out and how he like moved the needle, Lil Uzi Vert, like these are all guys in that same vein. Or what's the other gentleman that passed away? Juice WRLD? No, Juice WRLD.
Juice WRLD.
Well, you can add Pop Smoke in there too. I can't identify with New York drill music. And like when I listen to it, I'd be like, well, this is cool for them. The New York I know sounds completely different.
Right.
I'm Joel Santana, 50 Cent, Ja Rule, Fat Joe, Busta Rhymes, Nasir. Like those are the guys that I listen to. AZ, I find that like AZ has one of the best verses of all time, in my opinion. You can play that all the time. It's just smooth. But when you play these guys, and these kids are they're trying to evoke a feeling through the music rather than the lyrics to me. Like the lyrics are secondary. They're trying to create a vibe.
Yeah. And lyrics are so important to me. That's why I listen to music all the time.
So, and even with the R&B, like I feel like I like how R&B is right now because they pay a lot of homage to these older acts.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of samples.
Right, but R&B can't change from its roots so much because that is involved in evoking feeling through lyrics too, telling a story and shit like that. Which is why as an old guy now, right, getting there in terms of like music taste, right, I prefer R&B on my drives if I'm rapped out for that reason alone.
I love that.
R&B's a little bit harder to tech your way through. Like one of the other issues that's happening right now is anybody can be an artist. There's too much access to equipment and what anybody can make a song. It's too much,
or it's too easy.
That's why the talent seems very watered down because there's so much coming on and anybody can do whatever.
Yeah, you don't have to be a professional.
You don't care about lyrics. It's like, oh, he can mumble something and it just sounds right, or he found a nice beat and made it work. And so this whole microwavable era is just like, oh, we just looking for this vibe. Songs have gone from 5 minutes to 3.5, and now they're like
2:30,
1:45 or whatever.
Right?
And then R&B, because you have to have, I would say, a little more talent. I think anybody can rap. I don't think a lot of people can rap well, but anybody can rap. Even less people can sing. And so I know R&B is not all about how well you can sing, but it's harder to fake it to where it's like only so much other bullshit's going to penetrate.
Some people get lucky. Bryson Tiller.
Right. I mean, because there is...
Trap Soul was one of the greatest albums at that time period for me. But anything else he's put out subsequent to that, I've absolutely not.
I was just going to say, I don't think I've listened to anything since that album.
Party Next Door is another one. Frank Ocean is another one. Right? They've had earlier projects that like kind of put them on the pedestal that they're on now, but they haven't done shit.
That's how I feel about The Weeknd.
That's another one too.
I can't stand The Weeknd anymore.
That's another one too. Because that little 3-parter that he put out early, what was that shit called? The Balloons or House of Balloons or some shit
yeah.
Like all that, I'll listen to that. Like I left my girl back in a real dark place.
Yes.
But the newer shit, I can't and lend credence. That audience right now, they want that popular like upbeat song. You know what I mean? Like I can't feel my. You can go shopping to that shit. You can put it on commercials and shit like that. So I get why he does it because maybe what you really feeling don't earn the same money that you had before. So Hit my hand, class, man. We're going to get up out of here. Said we wasn't going to be here long. I lied. We started way too deep in the beginning. Where I was like, yo, we got to have fun.
I know. And I literally was on Instagram this week saying, I don't want to be deep. Let's keep it light. Let's keep it fun.
We got straight there. 3 cheers. You wanted to do a 3 cheers to
Mr. Kendrick Dial of the Lyrical Group. He is a mental health professional, an artist, a singer, a poet, a filmmaker, and the ultimate homie. He hooked me up. I was on Instagram talking about I don't have a laptop and I don't have a desktop. So I always go to the library to do all the things I need to do. And I was talking about that on my Instagram, and he hit me up and was like, I got a full desktop, everything you need. Come through. I got you.
You know what? Here's the thing.
I got you. And he got me. You know Kendrick? Yeah, of course you do. Yeah.
Kendrick has a kindred spirit, right?
Literally.
I know him. I don't know how I know him, but I've seen him so many times. He's been in here in Pod with us.
Oh, I love that. I
Matter
to
of
watch
fact,
that
his album is right here on top of this That Purple album that you see where he brought it and he brought his book. I want to say we went to the same church together, and that's how I remember him. But I remember him before he had dreads, right? Like way.
Okay.
And he has a daughter too, right?
Yes.
So I remember him. But
I believe she just got into Princeton.
He has secretly got his hand on a lot of shit in Dago that is fucking crazy.
He's a big player here in San Diego.
Yo, you can go out and be somewhere and hear a band playing, turn around and it's this dude.
Exactly.
When my grandmother passed away, he called I said, hey man, I don't know why I thought of him, but when my grandmother passed away, I said, hey man, you got somebody that can like sing or something like that at her funeral? We were my grandmother wanted her shit done fast, right? Yeah. He found a saxophonist. Man did a really good ass job. Same saxophonist I see this dude opening up for the Padres. I'm like, how the fuck?
Exactly.
And so shout out to Kendrick.
Shout out to Kendrick.
That's my guy, bro. And it's just so funny. And then we work together too, because he's one of the guys that we can a consultant that we send people to at work. Yeah. I'm like, yo, this motherfucker got his foot everywhere.
And even helping me out, I was like, you're Captain Save-A-Ho. So that just speaks to when people are big and out in the community, you sometimes wonder what are they behind closed doors. And Kendrick is one of those he didn't tell nobody, he didn't have to do that. He was like, you don't need, it's all homie love, And so just when someone is as good on the inside as they are on the outside, that's just so special to me. So
absolutely.
Shout out to Kendrick and all the things he does in San Diego and in all the spaces, music spaces, mental health spaces, film spaces, and the spaces in my life too.
Yeah, man, by the time he hits 60, man, everybody gonna know him. That's just he's different. My 3 cheers is we lost Willie Mays this week. And that one hurt a little bit. So much so that I saw my man with the bootleg Willie Mays jersey on yesterday, but it was the Giants one. It's like, nah, we don't remember him from the Giants, bro. That was later in his career. But Willie Mays, African American baseball player, outfielder, really just put a stamp on my childhood, right? Because it's when you make that over the shoulder catch like they do wide receivers, oh, Willie Mays used to say that. And when I used to play MLB The Show or all the baseball games back in the day, almost every game back in that time period were oh, he had shades of Willie Mays on that catch. You know what I mean? So, and I think he's in a baseball Hall of Fame too. He has to be. That's just crazy to even say. I think he's in the Baseball Hall of Fame. But yeah, man, very tough blow. But rest in peace, Willie Mays. Made it to his 80s, so lived a beautiful life.
Thank you for all your contributions.
Absolutely, Lex.
I'm going to give it 3 cheers to just women in general.
Yeah, see,
and this ain't pandering. This is not pandering.
This better be authentic.
Without him, you wouldn't be here today.
Yeah,
literally.
You're right.
Hey, let me go down the list real quick.
This is real. This is a real heartfelt.
So
moment.
I had some I had to handle today, and it was a pretty serious thing.
Yeah.
And not that my guys wouldn't have shown up if I would have pressed the issue a little more serious, but literally when it comes down to...
You wouldn't get the same grace, though.
I wouldn't say grace. I think
I'm
it's
not
more...
giving you the same grace.
When it comes to the actual, ride or die element of people's spirit, women got that shit down packed a lot more. And it was on full display today.
Yeah.
Full display. from and I think it trickled into even smaller, like, so there was that situation that was being handled by pretty much exclusively women and me, to where it just kind of trickled over to where I'm only here because she picked me up. Right. To even your wife, who I made a joke because you had told her, oh, 7:00 or whatever it was, and your phone died, or you in the pool or something.
Yeah.
And then I was a joke because she said she was in the pool. I said, hey,
I was in the pool.
You got me?
Yeah.
And she listened to my request. And I was like, hey, she held it down too. She had to do that.
Yeah.
And yeah. So, I mean, it's just something. And I think that's why I enjoy being around women more in general, just because there's a different aura. There's a different everything that's just like, it's just better.
I think especially sorry to cut you off.
No,
right now, what he's going through, like, he needs that not needs, but you deserve that kind of love and that kind of like lifting up. And I do think, as women, we're nurturers, we're mothers, like we're naturally going to, a lot of us will naturally kind of lend that out. So I think that, like, right now in the time that you're in your life, like, I'm so glad that you're surrounded by positive women, and I'm glad that I get to be a woman in your life that can also like love on you and uplift you and encourage you and like pour life into you.
And I think today, because I was thinking about it last night, just what I saw today kind of confirmed all the thoughts I was thinking last night. Like, oh, and like, I'm still him. And to a certain respect, right? And it was just kind of like, because these types of people were showing it, I was like, okay. It was more so like, I'm too modest to just go around saying shit like that.
Yeah.
But seeing that was like, okay, like, I've got something under control.
Yeah, they validated you.
Yeah.
Can of worms for another day. Can of worms. That is why I have a very difficult time understanding community-based relationships.
What are community-based relationships?
When I say the community, I'm talking about the community.
The alphabet.
Right? Because the reason for that is because I feel like there's a fucking A. That sounds so wild. But
you better hold it. Just hold it.
I know, but I'm just saying. I'm not going to deep dive on this, but I want to keep it open, right? But I feel like there's a natural gravitation to things and conversations and such.
Okay.
Like
Don't do it. Just hold it.
I know.
Because I see her. I know what I can do right now.
You see my little...
Let's do it off mic, and then we'll see if we can even do it on mic. Okay. I don't want people to say, fuck